you a tear-over SUV with free petrol for 1 year, or for boss to pay your salary 4 months in advance, or for your landlord to give you 70% discount on your next rent. Is it even possible for a bus conductor to allow passengers enter without paying? Some things may be impossible, but on QuickTeller, everything is possible. Like shopping from over 100 international stores on QuickTeller Global Mall, paying your estate levy, toll gate fees, buying event tickets, funding your betting wallets, sending money, paying electricity bills, school fees, buying airtime, everything. Download the QuickTeller app or visit quickteller.com to make that payment now. QuickTeller, everyday payments made easy.
Business Express.
All right.
Brought to you by InterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
Who's ready for business? It's Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Florotis is ready.
Yes,
Good
always.
morning, bro.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to
Welcome, welcome,
everybody
welcome.
out there.
Join the conversation on Business Express 981 for today, the 3rd of June. Send a message on WhatsApp 0809444091. Twitter is at Smooth981FM. Use that hashtag Business Express 981. I was streaming live on YouTube.
All right, all right. So, picking things up with the Senate yesterday, they've increased the oil benchmark in the revised medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper that was forwarded to it for approval from $25 to $28 a barrel. So, there have been revisions, of course, that have been made to the budget. We have to, of course, borrow some more money in order to fund the things that we need. And I think it's a reasonable change. I mean, they're not really getting too far ahead of themselves, going from $25 to 28. Oil continues to increase. Brent is now at $40 a barrel. So it's been increasing. I believe there is supposed to be a virtual meeting of OPEC Plus this week. It looks like it might happen this week between today and Friday. And they're expected to maintain the production cuts that they agreed to not too long ago. Remember, Russia and Saudi Arabia had their issues that caused that oil price war, and prices fell precipitously. But now it looks like oil traders are making a bet that the cuts are going to be maintained. So essentially, by maintaining those cuts, you keep you can't artificially keep supply down and try to keep the price up. Also, the slow gradual reopening of economies around the world is also giving oil traders some optimism. Jet fuel, I believe, it's about what 7-8% of accounts for about 7-8% of demand for crude, since it's a derivative of it. And while not all airports are opened up again, they are slowly but surely. It looks like, for us, for instance, June 21 is a tentative date to allow flights to resume, but elsewhere around the globe, they're slowly coming back on stream. So that is giving oil traders a feeling of optimism that, okay, if economies start to open back up, flights will resume in the US and other economies. People are slowly, I emphasize slowly and gradually, driving again. And so, of course, with people using their automobiles, moving up and down, that should also gradually increase the demand for oil. And so that's why we're seeing prices increase. But it's crazy. I was watching a YouTube video just a random YouTube video from 2013, just a news broadcast, and it was a business program, and there was a ticker. The ticker, those little numbers that slide at the bottom of the screen, and it showed crude oil $102 a barrel. I was like, wow, this was just
That must be a lot.
7 years ago, $102 a barrel. I
That.
think we're just scrolling. I was looking at old stock prices and all this thing. I was like,
See how much that has changed.
and here we are. Looking at crude at $40 a barrel, and we're happy. And I mean, that's just nothing in life stays the same, So that's with regards to changes to the budget. There are some other changes though that folks were not very happy about. According to the Punch, some data that they saw, the revisions, of course, included cuts in spending, but folks weren't very happy about the type of cuts that were made. And question the federal government's priorities. I understand that the renovation that's supposed to happen, take place for the National Assembly complex, initially it was 37 billion that allocated for it. I understand it's been reduced to 27 billion. However, other cuts, there were other bigger cuts that were made to like healthcare.
Yes.
So the basic healthcare provision fund, which is supposed to be like taking care of primary healthcare centers across the 774 local government areas, was reduced by by 44 billion to 25.5 billion, which is like a 42% reduction. What else? I mean, there were a number of other cuts that were made that people weren't very happy about. The Universal Basic Education Fund reduced from 117 billion to 51 billion. That's a 54% cut. So if you look at those big cuts to healthcare, and then you say, well, you're only reducing your renovation of your complex by about 10%. It's not. It makes one question the priorities of the government. I think the budget for the National Assembly, that was only cut by, it was 128 billion, cut by 10% to 115. Also, the National Judicial Council, original budget of 110 billion, reduced by 10% to 99 billion. So you're renovating this building, and these are the National Assembly budgets, 10% here, 10% there, but healthcare and education are getting larger cuts. It's not.
Would you consider that move insensitive?
Yes, I mean, people would,
what we're going through,
right?
When a health crisis, is it the right time to cut health budget?
It's not the right time, and then when you think about the fact that the COVID-19 emergency fiscal funding that they mentioned, the Minister of Finance, 500 billion here, the X amount is going to go to healthcare centers and so on and so forth. You would think that would pass through to as far as the revised budgets as well, but it's look, we got a long way to go with regards to healthcare and education, but our personnel costs are still just so high, and it's still, the cuts aren't enough. But if you make widespread cuts, I think the fear is, I don't know if it's unemployment. I think that's the general fear. If you make a big slash to personnel at the federal government, you're going to put a lot of people out of work. But unfortunately, we're at a stage where you don't really have a choice. You don't really have a choice at this point, because the expenses are just so high. So with respect to where we're going with regards to the budget, our revenues, we still have a large deficit. I think it's about what's the deficit now? 4.9 trillion. So our revenues now are down to the projected revenue 5 trillion, expenditure 10.5, so deficit of 4.96, and that has to be funded by more borrowing. And you have to think about the debt service to revenue, which is increasing. I've said it again and again and again. Over 1.2 billion dollars what Nigeria spent between January of 2019 and September of 2019. It's a lot of money, and that is set to increase. So opportunity cost, if you're spending so much servicing your debts, that's money that should be going towards capital expenditure and other items. So it's we are where we are, as the vice president said famously at that debate. It is what it is. I'm really not sure, what more I can say on the matter, but they've revised it. I think they've set June 9th, I believe, is what the Senate has put the dates the Senate has put together in order to finalize on the budget. But look, if we individuals have to make cuts to our own spending when we suffer salary cuts or we suffer layoffs or other things, the federal government has to make those big cuts as well. It's just how it goes. It has to be, the example has to be from the top. But we move on. What's Benga saying here? Benga says, how come? Hang on, I have a message from Cruz as well. Let me check Benga's message here. How come the budget for critical sectors like education and health were reduced by over 50%? Well, then exactly. I think Benga already. Yes, he sent this even before. Benga sent this message before I even announced it. He said, how come the budget for critical sectors like education and health are reduced by over 50%, while the National Assembly, word for word, everything I just said has, while the National Assembly has 27 billion for renovation in the revised 2020 budget. How do we grow this way? Benga. I don't know, Benga. I look. Yeah.
Cruz says, why are we scared of cutting the government personnel? Most of them do not do much in terms of actual work.
Well, look, Cruz, look, the thing is, what do you do? You know, where do they go? If you cut, okay, fine. Some of them don't do work, okay, but I feel like I sound like I'm defending them. The thing is, so this is the thing. If you cut unemployment, again, the Bureau of Statistics, I said this thing, I'm so tired of saying this. The Bureau of Statistics has not released unemployment figures since Q3 2018. We do not know how many people are unemployed now, right? We don't know. Other countries are giving you data, telling you exactly how many jobs have been lost since the COVID-19 pandemic started. America is 40 million people. They file unemployment benefits on a weekly basis. No, excuse me. They update data on people who file for unemployment benefits on a weekly basis. So if you lose your job, you can go to the government, fill out a form and say, I've lost my job, or please let me get unemployment benefits. Those unemployment benefits are funded by taxes. So I worked in the States for a while. I used to complain on my paycheck that deducting payroll taxes, deducting social security tax, deducting all these taxes. All those taxes go to support people who get laid off. So the data is up to date every week. You know how many Americans are filing for unemployment. This is on a weekly basis. Meanwhile, here, since Q3 2018, no unemployment figures. So, but South Africa already, they know how many people have lost jobs due to COVID-19. We don't even know how many jobs total unemployment is. We don't even know how the actual impact of COVID-19. So to answer Cruz's question is that in general, yes, they will lose their jobs. Then where do they go? What do they do? But I guess, Cruz has already made up his mind that just cut and cut to reduce the cost. But anyway,
now we're in cutting season.
Look,
Shegun says corruption is not reduced.
Shegun,
He says, Rotus, we are not being told where these loans are coming from.
No. That's the world. Let me not mix this up. IMF has given us 3.4 billion.
Right.
We're supposed to get 2.5 from the World Bank. It was initially $1 billion from the African Development Bank. It's now 500 million. By the way, speaking of African Development Bank,
you saw the handshake.
Hey, see power. Adikinwumi additional went to
behind you
straight to visit the president yesterday. Took pictures
and they laughed. They had a good laugh. Yeah.
Anyway, whether Buhari will pick up the phone and call Trump and say leave him alone. That's the cocoa. You can put all the Minister of Finance wrote a letter, Ambassador wrote a letter. Anyway, so that's where the money is coming from. Nigeria has to borrow in dollars from all these people.
Patrick Fabaja says, good morning, guys. I had 4 offices here in Lagos and have shut down 2 of them because of the current realities. Why can't the federal government reduce their bloated recurrent expenditures for goodness sake?
Patrick is a big boy. 4 offices in Lagos. But thank you for that message. That's the reality,
And that's the reality of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But Chris says we need to wake up. The earlier the better. Most of these people are getting older and unemployable as staff or contractors as the days go by. Daniel says, please stop defending them, Rotus. If they don't do work, they shouldn't be paid. They can keep them on and not pay them if they're trying to keep unemployment levels low.
Hey, I agree.
Winga says millions are unemployed in Nigeria and more people are joining every day. They know why they are holding on to the numbers. Abdurrahman says realistically, there are still ingenuine expenses of the government that the government refuses to reduce.
Good point.
Rainmaker says Brent goes as high as $39.49 per barrel. Whew. Now, the desire and political will to fix real issues are close to the window, and OPEC Plus is yet to meet. But I told my friends in March that we need to pray that oil stays below $15, else we will not learn. Unfortunately, prayers won't work. Simple economics knows that oil price will rise again. Government officials checking Brent prices and doing some Michael Jackson moves right now.
And you see, there are people like, thanks Rainmaker, there are people like that who want to see oil crash, try to force the Nigerian government to look elsewhere. But the suffering is, you don't want it to.
We just had a record from MBS yesterday that the agricultural sector
funded
a huge chunk of the budget. This is the highest they've recorded in 2 years.
Right. So
the
you
first
don't,
quarter.
you know, it's I understand the sentiments where you want to force them to do it, but
Henry Manuel
yeah.
says the personnel costs must be reduced. That's why we can make significant efficient gains in public spending. For example, we spent over 400 million naira to pay employees of the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research in 2017. I bet you've never heard of them before.
Actually, you're right. I don't think I've heard of them.
It's a government employment is not an unemployment scheme. If you want an unemployment scheme, we should create one.
That's a good point.
Andy says, without data, a country cannot plan. Anybody cannot plan without data.
I feel like banging my head on the desk. It's so frustrating. Thank you, Andy. I mean, come on.
Unfortunately,
You can't do anything without
can't.
data.
You just be spending off your pocket. Like, how do
Oh.
you defend it? How do you
I
even
don't-
measure
I
what's
just-
coming next?
I don't know.
This one says, Tunde from Maboro says, this revised budget shows a government that doesn't have its priorities right. What's the benefit to the nation if renovating a building for 27 billion naira when key indices for
Right.
measuring the country's productive competence suffers great neglect?
Good point. So
Daniel says, Brutus, can you talk about the foreign exchange? Because it seems CBN is illiquid.
where will the FX come from? The CBN came out. They sold $100 million last week Monday, and it was a surprise sale. Now I guess they didn't want to announce it so that the demand would just flush everywhere. They came out with one announcement in the paper saying that they're going to sell to BDCs. Anybody who is speculating against the dollar are going to lose money. You know, we got, again, whatever is being sold now is probably coming from the 3.4 billion that we got from the IMF. But again, I think the backlog of demand with respect to companies that want to repatriate their funds out of the country, I hear it's like $1 billion or so, or 1.2, and you can't just take from the money that you got, which is supposed to fight COVID-19, and then apply that to folks that need FX. So yeah, I mean, that's the situation we're in right now. So they're doing demand management. They're trying to they bought themselves some time. I mean, apparently the BDCs wrote a letter to the CBN saying, oh, because of COVID-19, we don't need you selling any dollars now. And in truth, people were staying at home. There wasn't that much demand for FX. So it's demand management. That's what they're doing right now. Check, your bank should have sent you a notification saying that the spending limit in dollars on your Naira card. Mine, they wrote me, went from $3,000 to 1,500. It's now at 500 or so. So it's basically demand management. Also, if you deposit cash into your DOM account, you can only take out, the way you put money into your DOM account is the only way it can come out. So if you electronically transfer dollars into your DOM account, you can only remove it by transfer. If you only put cash in, you can only take it out by cash. So that speaks to the fact that we are not flush with FX right now. So yeah.
Well, at a time, though, we're time for the last message. Ishaka says the unfortunate cut in budgetary in the budgets for critical sectors is aggravated by the usual abysmal release to the MDAs. God help us.
Ministries, departments, and
Ritu.
agencies. Thank you, and thank you everybody for your messages. We continue to observe things as they happen.
Yes. Stay with us on Smooth 98.1. It's Smooth Breakfast.
Brought to you by EnterSwitch.
Thank you.